Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Umineko, and to part 2 of the Angie summoning the furniture ritual thing.
じゃあ、エンジェ、始めてもいい？いいわ。ちょっと緊張する。ウリュウ、いきなりは辛いかも。頭痛になりそうだったら、すぐに魔力を減らしてね。じゃあ、魔力ソースをエンジェに移すよ。
In an instant, the inside of my head felt very heavy. This is, I see. It's tough. Until then, the inside of my head had only been used for myself. It was almost like it was now being used for 7 other people. If they just stood there and blinked once or let out a single sigh, that would put a strong pressure on my head.
マリア卿、恐れながら、やはり一度に7姉妹全員の負荷は重すぎるかと。
大丈夫。やっぱりダメかな。権限に全勢力を使っちゃってる。日常生活と両立できないほどの負荷じゃ意味がない。何しろ魔女としてこれじゃあちょっと優雅じゃないね。ウリュウ、だからいきなりこんなに大勢は無理だって言った。みんな少し姿を消してあげて。
そうね、人数を減らした方が良さそう。アスモ、姿を消しなさい。
また私？末っ子いじめ反対。たまには上から消えてよ。それじゃあ私が2番目に消えなきゃならないじゃない。やだやだやだ。
アスモもレビアネーも騒がないの。そういう騒ぎが余計エンジェ様の負担になるのよ。あんたが騒ぐのも負担になるのよ、バカサタン。
Yeah, they pretty much are absolutely not different in the slightest. The 7 sisters started arguing over who should erase themselves first. The energy from that fight all became a burden, forcing Angie with an even greater headache. In the end, they decided the order with rock, paper, scissors, and 1, 2, 3 of them disappeared. But even at that level, Angie was still far from comfortable. In the end, once 6 of them had erased themselves, I was finally able to calm my breathing. With my magical power, forget the 7 sisters, just 1 person is my limit.
ああ、これじゃあ7姉妹じゃなくて私一人じゃないですか。エンジェ様、ちょっと頼りないです。
Mammon, who had won all of the rock, paper, scissors and was permitted to remain until the end, complained.
ウリュウ、マモン、そんなこと言っちゃダメ。エンジェはまだまだ修行中。大丈夫？エンジェ。頭痛、大丈夫
Sakataro stretched up on his tiptoes, trying to pat Angie's head. Watching this, Maria scratched her head, acknowledging that this sudden training had been too difficult.
ちょっと荒行すぎたかな。マリア、これくらいなら全然平気だけど、友達いっぱいいればいるほど楽しいし。お姉ちゃんの凄さを改めて思い知るわ。
If I reached Maria One-chan's class, I would be able to summon enough people to perform in an orchestra. For a witch apprentice, that's awe-inspiring.
大丈夫ですか？エンジェ様。ごめんなさいね。私にはあなた一人を呼び出すのがやっとみたい。まあ、私はこれでもいいかな。だって7姉妹で私だけがエンジェ様の家具を独り占めだし。いかがですか、エンジェ様。私一人なら負荷にはなりませんか？
ええ、あなた一人ならなんとかね。
よかったなら、いっぱい修行して、いっぱい魔力を養ってください。そして、いつかきっと7姉妹で、揃ってお仕えさせてください。約束ですよ。
After checking that for the time being, there was nothing wrong with her own materialization. Mammon immediately returned to a good mood and tried to make me promise to work harder. I see, so this is greed. But maybe you could also call it forward thinking.
約束するわ。そのくらいはいつかできなくちゃね。
ありがとう、エンジェ様。この強欲のマモン、その日まで必ずエンジェ様にお仕えします。
My headache finally abated, and I relaxed both hands which had been clutching at my head. Then Mammon stuck out her hand, helping me stand back up.
ウリュウ。あ、マリア、エンジ、もうこんな時間だよ。
I hadn't expected Sakataro to talk about the time. I was brought back into reality. As though the light had disappeared, the vast world sunk into darkness. And I was in a tiny, tiny bathroom stall sitting on a toilet. Oni-chan's grimoire was open on my lap. I looked at the clock. It was almost 8 o'clock, time for lights out. If I show up late on the roll call before lights out, not only do things get pretty annoying, but it causes trouble for my roommates and floor mates. I couldn't care less about causing them trouble, but I'd rather not have them get annoying. My free time by myself is already over for today. I'll sleep, wake up. Tomorrow will begin, and another long, long gray-colored day will repeat again. I closed the grimoire and rose from the toilet seat. At that time, One-chan appeared again and spoke.
ほら、エンジェ。修行を忘れてるよ。マモンを連れて行って。
I'd forgotten. The moment I'd returned to reality, Mammon's materialization had stopped. One more time, I created a strong image of the existence of Mammon in my mind.
もう、エンジェ様ったらひどいです。いきなり私を消すなんて。そんなんじゃ、7姉妹を全員呼ぶなんて、なかなかできませんよ。
ごめんなさい。うっかりしてたわ。
人間界に権限するのはすごい久しぶりなので、何から何まで興味深いです。ちょっぴりワクワクしてます。ここはどこですか？
聖ルチーア学園の寮。ここはその共用トイレの個室。各部屋にトイレはあるから、ここには誰も来ない。静かで本を読むにはちょうどいいの。
ここの寮は本を読むにも、トイレの個室に隠れなきゃならないの？文書でもやってるんですか？
I have a two-person room, so my roommate is always there. Our relationship is gloomy, and it feels like I'm always ignored. The atmosphere's bad, so I can't really relax there. And as long as I'm not there, she can go all out, call her friends, and have a chatting party. It's more convenient for them too if I don't return until just before lights out. There's also a library, but there's a group that uses it as a meeting place who are always talking behind my back. So I don't like to go to the library. During lunch, it's the bushes behind the school building. During the night, it's the stall and the shared bathrooms in the dorms. Those are the only hideaways where I can be given peace. I opened the door to the stall and went out. I turned around, signaling with my eyes for Mammon to come with me.
よくわからないけれど、エンジ様にとってとても快適とは言い難い場所だってことが分かったわ。早く表に出ましょう。ここの空気、
嫌い。
そう？ここの空気が一番まともなんだけどね。
When I left the bathroom and entered the corridor, because it was near lights out time, there were several kids who had gone to play in other rooms dashing back to their own. When it came time for lights out, we had to change into uniform pajamas and that we hated called prison clothes. Line up in the hallway and go through the dorm leader's roll call. On the off chance that someone was late, we would take collective responsibility, and all the floor mates would have to undergo a punishment called volunteer work. As long as I avoided this, the girls would look at me coldly, but they wouldn't get in my way. That alone was enough for me. Mammon looked at the passing kids and the furnishing of the dorm with interest. Without paying her any particular attention, I hurried back to my room. In front of my room was my roommate, who had already changed into her prison clothes, chatting with some kids from the next room over. When they noticed me hurrying back, their topic of conversation noticeably changed. They lowered their voices, stealing glances at me. I acted like I didn't notice, went into my room and changed. Then I hastily went out into the corridor. Everyone was already lined up.
何これ、おかしい。ここってお嬢様学校じゃないの？
That's what I was thinking. I don't know, it feels less like a school and more like a prison. I mean, they did make that illusion earlier, but still, like, this is remarkably so.
刑務所みたい。バカみたい。
やっぱりそうよね。私もそう思ってるわ。刑務所よりさらに厳しい点は、素行が良くても刑期が短くならない点かしら。
After abusing the place, I noticed. Having someone to listen to your complaints feels surprisingly good. Fortunately, Mammon's form can only be seen by the summoner, me. And of course, there was no need to speak out loud for this conversation. All I had to do was speak inside my mind, so no one could listen in. Magic and the friends it creates might actually not be so bad.
こいつら揃いも揃ってもやしみたい。生きてないって感じ。
やめなさいよ。毎日姿を見られたら大変よ。
夢も希望もかけらほどもない人間なんて半魔法の塊だもの。私の姿なんて絶対に見えるわけがない。見ることもできない下等生物どもが。
あなたはその半魔法の毒素を持つ人間たちがこれほどいる中でも平気なの？
園児様が私を権限させてくださる限りは平気です。ただ私を権限するために常に集中しなければならないでしょうから、日常生活がおろそかになる可能性がありますよ。ほら、同室の子に呼ばれてません？
え、あ、
後宮さん、聞こえてる？来週からの終盤なんだけどさ、ちょっと相談があって。
She's probably talking about pushing a few more chores onto me. My roommate, who normally never even looked me in the eye, was smiling at me unpleasantly. But it'll be easier to have the weekly duty pushed onto me alone, rather than doing it together with her. That's a small price to pay to have her continue to ignore me non-stop. Even so, with a completely shameless excuse. She sidestepped the issue for some reason, and insisted on flipping the situation around, as though I should have come forward and done it of my own initiative. One of the special traits of this academy is that it's full of girls who don't know how to ask a favor.
何この子、ムカつく。眉間に思いっきり私の杭をねじ込んでやりたい。
そうね。
Let's hold off on that for
ぜ
now.
ひ今度お願いするわ。
Oh, really? Yeah. Having a friend nearby all the time to complain to makes me happier than I thought it would. It really was lively with all the seven sisters gathered together. I'm sure that just watching them mess around would be a lot of fun. I want to gain the magical power to summon all the seven sisters at once. And soon. So I'll train much, much more, then take the thing that I really want to call to me and summon it.
エンジ様が本当に召喚したいものって何ですか？
Mammon noticed my conversation with myself inside my head, and asked about it blankly. I hesitated to talk about it, but then thought that there was nothing to hide and told her.
家族よ。お父さん、お母さん、お兄ちゃん。
それってつまり死者の魂？異界の住人を呼び出すのは召喚だけど、死者の魂を呼び戻すのは反言で、それは全くの別物。反言はかなりの大魔法のはずですよ。
I know. So much so that even Maria One-chan can't do it at all. But that's the thing I want to call with magic, the most. I've been warned that it's a very difficult high-level magic. So great that, in the worst case, I might not necessarily reach that point, even after training for my whole life. Furthermore, I have no vessel. A vessel is something vital for making magic succeed, whether it be summoning or resurrection. Because I don't have that, what would have been just difficult magic became hopeless. That's right. I have nothing to remember Dad or Mom by. However, by an extraordinary coincidence, I do have something to remember just One-chan by. And that's this.
そのピンクの玉の頭飾り？
Oh, the thing she's wearing in her hair?
何それ？言っちゃ悪いけど、演者様にはちょっと安物っぽい。
昔、お父さんに内緒で、お母さんと一緒にお兄ちゃんに会って、遊園地に遊びに行ったことがあるの。そこのクレーンゲームの景品。
Oh, you mean her brother. I know it's something cheap, and I realize that it doesn't match my style, and I get that it's too childish. But this hair accessory is the only thing that makes me feel as though Battler Oni-chan is by my side. So maybe she could summon Battler that way then? The glass case had been filled with plastic capsules, packed with fun-looking things. It seemed that each capsule had some cute accessory in it. The game was to grab those with the crane, but I was young and it was too hard for me. I tried it several times, but I didn't even get close. Mom said that whatever was inside was probably cheap anyway, and we didn't even know what it was. So there was no point in getting all upset over it. But whether it was something cheap or not wasn't the problem. The process of grabbing happiness with my own hands felt very important and sacred to me. So I wanted the cheap thing inside more than anything. Oh, that's a great picture. Oh, I like that. Then Battler Oni-chan came over after finishing a game of shooting soldiers with a gun, and tried to do it for me. Oh my gosh, she's adorable, look at her! with his arms that were longer than mine. Oni-chan grasped the happiness that I couldn't reach. Oni-chan really was coordinated. It seemed that he often played with his friends at the arcades. After only 1 or 2 attempts, he grasped that thing on the other side of the glass with the crane that I hadn't even been able to touch, and threw it into the exit chute. When Oni-chan tossed me that capsule, I remember that he looked very, very reliable. For several days, I felt like opening the capsule would have been a waste. Then one day, I finally opened it up. What then revealed itself inside was this pink jeweled hair accessory. Since that day, it has been a symbol of Oni-chan. Since I was young, I thought that having a 4-person family gathered, including Battler Oni-chan, is a precondition for a happy family. So I wanted Oni-chan and Dad to make up quickly. In my own way, I had made this hair accessory a charm to bring my whole family together. So I always used to wear it. I wanted to feel my reliable, fun, and wonderful Oni-chan by my side all the time. And let him live in our house.
でも、 兄ちゃんの記憶はあまりに遠い。
Has anyone ever noticed that it's like a very Japanese stereotype, and just like in animes and stuff like that, to have a character that is otherwise, I'm not saying battlers useless, but they'll usually have some kind of a useless or kind of main character who doesn't have any extremely special traits about him, except for one does stick out, which is they're really good at pointless things. Like, for example, a very common one is a crane game. Like, they'll just be like, oh, you need help with a crane game? Let me try, and they'll do it, and they'll get it first try, and it's like, what? I don't know, it feels like a very big Japanese anime kind of game stereotype thing.
マリアお姉ちゃんがライオンのぬいぐるみから作太郎を生み出したようには簡単にできない。私は死者の魂を蘇らせる大魔法をいつか必ず身につける。そしてそれを成功させられる唯一の鍵が、よりしろがこれなの。
なるほど。その頭飾りにものすごい魔力を感じてたけど、そういうわけなのね。
魔力？お兄ちゃんのこれに魔力が宿ってるの？
園児様が宿らせていると、園児様の兄を呼び出したいという強い思いが魔力を与えている。確かに反言は大魔法だけど、園児様はその魔法のために無意識のうちに着実に階段を登っているのは間違いない。
嬉しいわ。私以外の人にそれを認めてもらえるのは。
Your own effort isn't something that you can observe by yourself. In that sense, even though these words came from a shady demon girl who controls one of the 7 deadly sins, they made me very happy.
反言の魔法に至るのと寿命を全うするのと、どっちが早いかだけは私には保証できないけれども、でも挑む山の高さが高ければ高いほど、園児様はくじけることがなかったなら、きっといつか私たちの元の主ベアトリーチェ様に匹敵するほどの大魔女になれると思います。
And then we're gonna have another, like, sick battle? Like, you know, that other time?
大魔女になってお兄ちゃんを、家族を蘇らせることができるかしら。
反言の魔女、演者教。素敵！反言の魔女はかなりレアな魔女です。そんな魔女がご主人様なんて、ちょっと鼻が高いです。っていうか、むしろそうなってほしいものです。家具の価値も主の格に比例しますので。もうベアトリーチェ様さえ抜いちゃって、天下無双の大魔女になってくださいね。煉獄の7姉妹を代表して心より応援申し上げます。
I thought that if a magical friend were to appear for me too, I'd have liked a cute kid like Sakataro. But even this 5th sister of the shady 7 sisters who controlled the 7 deadly sins was enough to calm my heart so much all by herself. Maria One-chan has probably known about that since long ago. That's why she had recommended the world of witches to me, over and over and over again. And I kept on stubbornly rejecting that. I should have given in and started my training as a witch sooner. A year for a child is worth 10 years for an old person, wasn't it? Now I find my past self, which only ever complained, deplorable for wasting my precious time. Long after I turned off the lights and slipped into bed, Mammon continued to talk to me alongside my pillow. I promise. One day for sure I'll develop a magical power that can summon the 7 sisters. And I'll let them have a lively and fun time. You know, as they complain at each other, the 7 of them make a single whole. None can be left out. Family must be together. I must bring them together. Wait, what? I totally forgot what was happening, like, before all this. Oh well, we'll get into that next time. I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know if I'm really close to a better stopping point, but we'll stop here for now, as I'm prone to do. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for some more Umineko. Bye!